Word Balloon is brought to you by the League of Word Balloon Listeners.
As part of a small line of pieces we're doing that are kind of pin-up-y type shots where they're a little bit rougher and simpler with just a portrait of a figure, no background, I want to do something to complement the piece I did earlier with Wonder Woman. And Starfire is another favorite of mine from DC, and in particular the way she was designed by George Perez, the way she appeared for, I want to say, the first 20 years of her existence before she was changed by a cartoon version that kind of took away a lot of the alluring qualities to her that were in her initial DNA. So there's a very distinctive face, hairstyle, and vibe from her when she was first created in 1980, and I wanted to connect with that.
Ironside will not be seen tonight, so we may bring you the following special program.
Welcome back, everybody. It's time again for another Word Balloon Live, the comic book conversation show, the pop culture conversation show. John Suntress here. Really happy to welcome back one of my favorite people that I get to talk to every now and then. I always call him, because it's true, an internet pioneer. Ladies and gentlemen, Jim McBride, a.k.a. Mr. Skin. Welcome back, Skin. Good to see you.
Thanks, John. Yeah, it's pretty incredible. I've been doing this 22 years. It blows my mind. I launched this in 1999, and I remember working at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange as a clerk, and one of the guys that stood at the top of the pit and did the hand signals. And I remember thinking, gosh, if I could make a little side money doing this, it'd be a great way to supplement my meager income at the Merc. And who would have guessed 22 years later I'd still be doing this.
It's amazing, man. And truly, I'm thrilled for you. And I know in previous conversations, and I love this, the film Knocked Up really was like a great shot in the arm for your subscribers back in the day. And I would imagine still is.
Yeah. I tell people that, in all honesty, the 20 plus appearances I've made on the Howard Stern show over the years is probably where most people know me from. Mm-hmm. But the second most is definitely the movie Knocked Up, which debuted on June 1st of 2007. And what that did for me, obviously it, was a great boom for the website, but it also kind of helped start this whole process of making Mr. Skin part of pop culture. And, since then, the Family Guy's talked about Mr. Skin twice. SNL has made Mr. Skin references. The Californication movie from Showtime mentioned a Mr. Skin thing. And it's crazy to me that how many people know about this website. I think part of it's because we've been around so long. I think more importantly, though, I think it's because of what a great job my incredible team does to, that you can see the passion, you can see the effort and the work that goes into our website. I mean, when I started this, I had two choices. One is you could just post pictures and, yeah, big deal. Or you could create a community or a database, a review website, very similar to the IMDb of nudity in movies and television. And you combine that with great editorial content and all the other work we put into it, and it becomes a real, fun place for people to visit.
No question. And really, you've upped the video content that you have on the site. And God, again, I remember back in '99 and stuff, and it was all very simple blog with, JPEGs or whatever. And
don't forget, it was also from my personal video collection on VHS and Betamax. I had very little amount of content from DVDs when I launched in '99 because I didn't have the money to buy a ton of DVDs. But I had been recording movies from cable television since fall of 1980, and a lot of that early stuff was VHS content. And it was, when I look back at it, I'm almost horrified that that's what we had. But that was the best there was at the time, and people still loved it, even with their crappy dial-up connections and everything else. I recently, when I did my book a couple of years ago for my 20th anniversary, I put in the book a picture of the front page of the website when we launched. And you got to be kidding me! It looked like ancient scrawls by cavemen on a wall, like compared to what it is now.
Absolutely. Now, the last time we talked, and I want to get to. Don't worry, everybody. We'll be talking about the actors that make up Skin's top 10.
Actresses.
Yeah, actors and well, I always, I've and again, much like changing our pronouns. I've learned that a lot of women prefer to be called actors as well as
that's true. Well, if you so desire, I could talk a little about Mr. Mann's top 10 nude scenes of the year, but we don't have to go there.
No, honestly, I'm glad, because truly I want people to know you are, and that's a big change but you've been doing it for years. The fact that you do have male lists as well as the women's list. So no, it's good to acknowledge that. But regardless, I wanted to also mention, last time we spoke, you had the great documentary that, am I right? Is it's streaming now, right?
Oh yeah. Not only can you stream it at, Fandango or Amazon or, wherever you go to get VOD movies, but we sold it to Hulu, and it's funny. It's been one of Hulu's best-selling movies all year. And they always, if you go there, it's always like they put it towards the front of their movies. And it's a documentary on the history of nudity in movies, but it even outperforms most of their regular movies. And my only regret is we didn't sell it to Hulu for enough money, but they have a 2-year lease. So this time in 11 months, we can get it back. And I think we're going to do real well the next time we sell it to whoever that is. So it's one of those movies that it's kind of like an evergreen type thing where it doesn't matter if you see it in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, it still resonates. It's still about the history of nudity in film from, Thomas Edison all the way up to the Me Too movement. So it's very relevant. It'll be relevant 5 or 10 years from now also.
No question. And truly, Skin, I think it is truly handled in a very properly respectful way. And it really does. I mean, it not only tells, as you say, the timeline history of nudity in film, but it really does head on address the Me Too concerns. And I think it's amazing to learn the genuine effort that I think a lot of film production has made to make both actors and actresses feel safe when they are doing sex scenes. You even told me there's now an on-set technician on a lot of productions that literally an actor can go to and say, hey, they want me to do X, and again, I'm parenthetically just, kind of giving the basics, but essentially, yeah, they want me to, they want to touch X. Is that okay? Can I say no? And it's great. And this technician will tell the directors and the producers, no, you can't do that. Yes, that's as long as the actor says, okay, that's fine. But it's great that there really is this kind of nudity lifeguard that essentially is there to say, no, you can't make them do that.
Right. And it's happened over the last, 4 or 5 years, especially. And it's been a great thing because many actresses and actors really didn't have anyone in their corner, especially when they were up and coming actors.
Yeah.
And, to have someone there that's sole job is to make sure that, these intimate scenes are done tastefully, that everyone involved is in agreement that this is how it should be done. And, that was definitely something you didn't see in the 80s or 90s, right? And I think that's a great thing, because in the end, listen, you want these scenes, you want to know that the actresses and the actors, willingly contributed, not were forced to contribute, and there's a big difference.
100%, man. No, truly, people. Again, it's on Hulu right now, and again, available everywhere else to rent. But if you have a Hulu account, you can watch Skin, and it's terrific. And it not only speaks to the actors and actresses that have performed nude, but also people like Eric Roberts. Well, Eric, I don't know if Eric Roberts ever went down.
Yeah, and we interviewed Eric Roberts, and Malcolm McDowell was fantastic.
Yes.
And, Pam Grier and Shannon Elizabeth and so many actors and actresses that did memorable nude scenes. Sean Young is in there.
Yep.
It's just kind of cool to hear their perspectives, how those scenes were filmed. Malcolm McDowell talking about Caligula is like so cool to hear what was going on. They definitely didn't have someone on set that was worrying about doing the nude scenes properly, but it's kind of cool to hear all of these famous actors and actresses speak of these historic nude scenes in our documentary.
Yeah, Caligula. I mean, again, Jim and I are about the same age, and of course, we remember as kids when that was like Bob Guccione produced Caligula, and certainly promoted the hell out of it back in the day in Penthouse magazine, and it certainly was the chatter on many a junior high school and high school.
Oh my God, yes! My God, yes!
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Well, let's talk about some of these actresses that make up your top 10 list this year. One I want to talk about right away, and that's Andra Day. And again, for old school fans like you and myself, my God, she is like such a lookalike for one of the great Catwomen. And shame on me. Now I'm all of a sudden I'm blanking.
Eartha Kitt,
of course. My God, look at that face.
Yeah. Jesus. Yeah, she is beautiful. And Andra Day in the United States versus Billie Holiday came in at number 8 on our best nude scenes of 2021. And really it's cool because she was nominated for an Oscar for this role. She won the Golden Globe for this role. And this was her first acting role. She's a singer by trade. And she just did a fantastic job. And playing Billie Holiday, the legendary singer, is obviously they needed someone that could actually sing and act. But she also did 4 great nude scenes in this. And we chose the scene at the 29-minute mark to represent that at number 8. But, I could have chosen any of the others. But so this is big because she was nominated for an Oscar and did incredible nudity in the same movie.
100%, man. And again, everyone can see the full list at Jim's website, of course, MrSkin.com. And sorry, everybody, I don't want to, also I didn't want to steal Jim's thunder. So I want,
feel free. By the way, that's all free at the front page of our website. And you can also watch video clip of what we're talking about, but you could see the pictures if that's all you want to do. But to watch the entire scene in a lot of these things, like a picture is great, but to really get the full effect, you want to watch the scene that we're speaking about.
Absolutely. That's the evolution of MrSkin.com. Now we're talking about in Andra Day's case being a singer and stuff. Speaking of singers, and I don't know if you've ever done this before, having a video make your top 10 list, but there's Halsey, and Halsey's certainly represented by one of her videos of the year.
Yeah, well, it's more than a video, and it's interesting because my daughters know Halsey very well. My daughters are 17 and 14. I have to say, other than her hosting Saturday Night Live, I don't really. If you said to me, "What's Halsey's best song?" I'm embarrassed to say I don't know, but. I can tell you this: she has 27 million Instagram followers, so she is the real deal. And she this year did her 4th album. It was called "If I Can't Have Love, I Want Power," and she made a 1-hour, I think it was like 54-minute movie that aired in IMAX, based on the album. And lo and behold, John, at the 12-minute mark, she walks completely naked out of the water, and it's full nudity. I was like, wow, that's impressive. And people really, love it. And like you said, we usually don't. This isn't a music video. This is an actual artistic. It's almost an hour-long movie.
Uh-huh.
But it is more. If you watch it, it's more of a extended music video. Let's call it.
I'm hip. Well, back in our childhood, we remember ABC, the band that did The Look of Love. They had an extended 15 or 20-minute video called The Man Trap, and it was essentially like a mini movie. So, and again, I'm showing my age by calling her Halsey as opposed to Halsley. So I'm not doing the soft edge.
I don't know. Yeah,
but just like you, man, I remember I was working at WBBM, the news station, doing traffic the night she was on Saturday Night Live, and we had the big screens on, and it's like, who's that?
Right. Beautiful. She's beautiful.
She really is.
That's number 7 on our best nude scenes of 2021.
So, Skin, are they are people? Is that the staff's top 10, and then everyone can choose from that top 10? Because I noticed at the bottom it still said you could vote.
Yeah, we let our visitors vote also because we're interested to see what the voters think. This is my list, and it's kind of fun because, and there's so many different platforms now. In 1999, I had Sex and the City and Sopranos and a couple other television shows that had nudity, but now it's just you have so many streaming services, Netflix and Amazon and Hulu and HBO Max, and everyone has a streaming service. BET has a streaming service. It's
oh yeah.
So there's just so many places to go through. But my team, luckily, my writers and my content people that go through the movies and television shows, kind of over the course of the year when they see great stuff, we kind of file it away in a place where we're gonna revisit this at some point. And sometime around November, we all start to get together, and it takes 2 or 3 meetings where we they do a first run at it, and then I say, well, what about this one? And I don't like this order. I think this should be here. In the end, it's all my call, but I have a fantastic team to help me make the decision. And believe me, John, one person could not do this in this day and age. There's too much. You need a team to do a top 10 nude scene list now. It's not like the old days. And
I never see that job posted.
In 1968, one guy could have done it, but not anymore.
No, I can appreciate the crack staff that you've likely assembled.
Yeah,
It's a rough job. Rough job, Skin. Somebody's got to do it. Absolutely, man. Now, and I love this because it really does call back to my days at The Score, and I can be a bit of a sportscaster and say, here's a veteran of these top 10 lists that has managed to make it. So we're getting some rookies here as well, as you say, with Andra Day. But let's point out Alexandra Daddario, who certainly has made her statement in a lot of nude scenes over the years. Wouldn't you say, Skip?
Well, she was my number 1 nude scene in 2014 for True Detective, that great HBO series with Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey. And I remember that aired in January of 2014, and I was watching the show with my wife, not expecting that. And I turned to my wife in January of 2014, and I said, that will be the best nude scene of the year. No one's going to beat that. And that was it. When I make a call in January, that's saying something. So it was true. But she did this show this year. You might have heard about it, called White Lotus from HBO, which think of it about The Love Boat, kind of because it's about guests over the course of a week. But this is at a tropical resort. And she, in the second episode, had a nude scene with her husband, her TV husband, and it's much briefer than True Detective, but any Alexandra Daddario nudity is going to make my list if it happens. So
no, she's a lovely woman, and I don't know have you. How often do the actors get in touch with you after the list and stuff? Have you guys had that kind of contact?
Yeah, well, it's funny you mentioned Alexandra Daddario. About, I would say around 2015 or 16, we did a fun, like all you guys in sports radio and morning shows, we did a bracket at our website, and I can't remember what the topic was, but it might have been most beautiful actress or best nude scene, whatever it was. And she ended up, and we get millions of people to our website a month, and let them vote. Bracket 64, and it got down, Sweet 16, 8. She ends up winning, and which makes totally fine with me. And she posted on Twitter that, like, all you guys that wouldn't date me in high school, eat your heart out. I won this at MrSkin.com. So they have fun. Like Sarah Silverman won an Anatomy Award once and made a great post about it. Who else? There's a bunch of actresses through the years have been very complimentary for winning this. And quite frankly, what we're saying is you looked great. You had the best nude scene of the year. You won this award from our website. All positive, and we always try to keep everything very positive here.
Absolutely, man. I'm looking up because I want to make sure I've got the right person here. Okay, I knew it was one. There's a couple Sydneys on the list, but for the comic book fans that are regulars here at Word Balloon, I want to point out Sydney Meyer, who's in Why the Last Man. Man, I love that show, and I'm so bummed that for whatever reasons, I haven't been able to figure out why. But Brian K. Vaughan and Cliff Chang, the co-creators of the comic book that inspired the TV show, we were all high-fiving them this year for getting the show on the air, and then immediately FX says, "Yeah, just one season and we're done," because it's a great premise of this virus, unfortunately, wiping out the male population except for one guy, and the women take over. And again, great representation of Sydney Meyer rather, in Why.
Yeah, it's called Why the Last Man, and I have some good news for you. The big rumor going on is that there were so many people like you that really dug this show that there's a pretty good probability that it's going to get picked up by another network. So don't despair. But yeah, this scene with Sydney Meyer, and you set it up perfectly. It's based on a comic book, and when I do my Anatomy Awards for Best Breasts, I think the Sydney Meyer scene will definitely be in consideration. But what's also cool about it is while she's topless in the foreground, there's a number of naked actresses in the background, clean, showering and whatever. So it's just a fantastic scene, and it's called Why the Last Man. And like I said, I hope the show gets picked up. But that's number 5 on our best nude scenes of the year.
Absolutely, man. No, it's again a great idea. I mean, when 20 years ago when the comic book came out, we're like, Brian, that's brilliant. And it really is this really interesting idea of, okay, what happens when the women truly do take over?
Well, and another thing about that I was asking my guys about this because I want to be clear, like FX has nudity, but not to this level.
True.
But because they did it for Hulu, Hulu's like, yeah, whatever goes. And sure. For an FX show, this is like way above and beyond the nudity that you would see on FX.
Yeah, I wonder. Again, I was watching it on Hulu, so I don't know if they zoomed in on the head and shoulders and
like how they do Vikings. Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Well, another great news show that caught my attention from a premise standpoint was Heels, and again, a comic book tie because the star of Arrow, Stephen Amell, was the lead on that, and it was his show, and he's a massive wrestling fan. And we get Kelly Berglund with some beautiful scenes.
Oh, she's gorgeous. And if you don't know about this show, Heels, it's from the Stars Network, and it's about these two brothers who are rivals, and their dad, it's a wrestling show, and their dad had a wrestling promotion in small town Georgia. And in the wrestling world, if you don't know, like a villain is a heel, and then the hero, the good guy, is a face. And the show's called Heels. And so in the 3rd episode, Kelly Berglund, who you're showing right here, has a topless scene that came in at number 9 on our list, and you can see she's gorgeous and all. But what's interesting, John, and it's starting to happen more and more as I get older, but Kelly Berglund used to be on Disney's Lab Rats. It's like, you got to be kidding me. So she's obviously in her 20s now, but
yeah.
it's weird. These child actresses grow up, continue in the acting, and all of a sudden they're doing nude scenes. Like Alyssa Milano was like the first of that generation,
We remember. Absolutely.
And now we got more and more as you get older, like, it's just crazy. But yeah, Kelly Berglin's a beautiful woman, and she has a sex scene with the heel. And it's our number 9 nude scene of 2021.
There you go. Alexandra Daddario also. I don't remember if she was Disney, but I know she did those
that Percy
Jackson movie.
Was that Disney? I can't remember.
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't think it is, but it's certainly that all ages kind of.
Well,
and Girl Next Door.
When Percy Jackson movies were out, I remember I was on vacation with my family, and I was, my kids who were much younger then were watching a Percy Jackson movie in the hotel. And I was doing some work, and I look up at the TV, and I see this gorgeous woman, who's in her early 20s in Percy Jackson, and I'm like, holy geez, who is that? So anyway, it was my first introduction to Alexandra Daddario. Never dreaming, about 5 years later she'd do True Detective and now White Lotus. So
absolutely, man. No, it is interesting, and again, I mean, I'm glad it's a safer environment for women to do these things, and we get these amazing performances, and then of course we appreciate the fact that when they're willing to take their clothes off, we won't. It's okay,
especially because it's good for business. So yes,
I respect that absolutely. Well, and that's in the Me Too era, Skin. How are there activists that are still take this site? I mean, they really can't take it down because it's the internet. But I
get asked that occasionally, and to me, the Me Too movement is about the work environment where a man uses his power to uses his power against women, and also when someone says no and they continue on, that's Me Too movement. Yeah. Totally respect all of that. I think our website's a little different because we're a database and we're reviewing nudity in film. We do men, we do female.
Yes.
We don't, if you also come to our website, you'll notice how when those cell phone pictures, when you'd hear about cell phone pictures being stolen and people
getting hacked. Yeah.
People thought that would be right up my alley, but no, our thing has always been, it has to be a movie or television show where an actress willingly appears.
Sure.
And, I think I get it where you could say, oh, well, the Me Too movement, you shouldn't, I understand that side, but I really think when you really understand what the Me Too movement is about, we don't fall into that, but maybe I'm being naive. But the truth of the matter is we've always been, we celebrate nudity in film, male and female nudity. And there are no bad nude scenes as far as we're concerned.
Yeah.
And we don't do paparazzi pics or we don't do stolen cell phone pics. It's just like, hey, you were in Game of Thrones nude? That's awesome. Let's review it and show it. So I do understand what you're saying, but really, we're not really Me Too.
A target. No, Me Too target.
Yeah, it really haven't been,
No, that's great. Well, and again, that shows again that you're just letting everyone know that wants to see a quality nude scene and everything, where to go. And then again, it's authorized by the person that's giving us the nude scene. Mm-hmm. I want to talk about Megan Montier.
Oh, I'm glad you found a picture of her because she's not super famous. She's probably the most obscure actress on our list, but at number 6, she had an HBO Max show called 30 Coins, and it's a Spanish religious horror series, and happened in the 6th episode. And when you see the scene, she's obviously gorgeous. She's completely nude, but it's the camera angle that is what makes this such an incredible scene. And all I could say is you have to go check it out to understand what I'm saying. But I will say I've heard of looking up old friends, but this is ridiculous. that might best describe the scene, is what I'm saying.
No, it's great, and again, it shows the European reaction to nudity. Never been a big deal, continues to not be a big deal. So it's great to see, and that's the other thing I do truly appreciate is the range of sources that the top 10 list comes up with, whether it is Halsey or Megan Montier or some of these others that are on the list. It's pretty amazing.
Well, my Skinternational division discovered this and really was pushing for it. So, like I said, but it's funny with these new platforms, Netflix, HBO Max, Hulu, whatever. What is one of the biggest developments for my world is they find these shows from other countries and they plop them into the queue of your new releases or cool new TV shows. And if you're an American citizen and you got Netflix and the front page of your Netflix is Narcos or is whatever it is, Peaky Blinders or the Hockey Girls or whatever it is that are from other countries, they become our shows, and even though they're foreign shows and sometimes you got to watch them with subtitles or whatever, Fauda is a great example of that. Great shows that only because of these new platforms do we get access to them so easily, so they become our shows,
I agree, man. And you're right. And it exposes us to the world's television series. And you're absolutely right. And especially with HBO, I remember when Mandrake, this amazing Spanish lawyer show, was like one of the new things. And yeah, it's great to see. And God, there was even a Japanese / Netherlands television show on Netflix. No nudity, sadly, but it was Tokyo Report,
mm-hmm.
and it was all about the war tribunals for the Japanese, just like the Nuremberg trials for the Germans and stuff. And oh my God, this was epic television, and it was in English, and it wasn't dubbed, but it was made with this both Japanese and Netherlands production, and it was incredible television. And it's great that we have that ability now to really enjoy the world's quality television.
Yeah, what's so fun is other countries have this different sensibilities. I mean, Squid Games. Would the Squid Games have been made here? And I don't know. So it's fun to see. It's fun to see those shows from other countries. That's one of the great things about having access to all these platforms, is finding these gems. And for what I do, like I said, then add the fact that there's some incredible nude scenes that we could share. And when we I get asked a lot about, like, well, I don't understand, like, there's so much free stuff on the internet, how could you have a subscription website? And I actually think what I do as a subscription site is kind of more important now, and more people, and it's based on how we're doing, but more people than ever need, like, someone that could just, like, organize all this and repackage it and show it, because there's just so much out there. Like, yeah, you could find these scenes I'm talking about if you knew about them, number one, which how would you? Number two, if you then tried to find it at one website and maybe another one at another website. But that's a lot of work, and I get it. Some people just want to Google something and that's as much as they want to see. But we put a website together where we review it. We do play. Yeah. There's so much more to the community that we have that for $9.95 a month, it's worth it to people to get this access to our website.
100%, man. No, you do provide a lot of content and context beyond the obvious of, hey, let me just check out a naked girl for a second. Absolutely. Here's another one of the top 10, and that's Julia Fox from Private Chat, PVT Chat.
Yes. Well, if you don't know who she is, right before the pandemic in like November of 19, that Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler came out. That was a really dark, like, it wasn't a typical Adam Sandler
great movie.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And the girl that played his girlfriend, not his wife, but the one he was like, that he saw in a thong when he was hiding, that was Julia Fox. And so many people hit us up like, what's her story? Has she ever done nudity?
Sure.
Well, on February 9th of 2021, she did this movie called Private Chat, and or PVT Chat, where she plays a cam girl.
Yep.
And what's really amazing, if you watch the clip from the scene that we chose at number 3, I'll tell you, it's like, I've seen more and more of this, and now there's no question this is a mainstream film. It's available at all the places you could download movies. But if you watch the scene, what happens in this scene, and she's very naked, but with the guy she's with, it straddles like the our NC-17 porn. Like it's not porn like we know porn. It's not R, and it's like a little more than what you would normally see in NC-17. So it's like almost a new category. I don't even know how to describe it. Other than, it's like you see things in that scene that are way beyond our rating. I don't know if you watch the video, you'll know what I mean.
Absolutely, man. And again, the top 10 list is at MrSkin.com. You don't have to be a subscriber to watch the clips and see the list and see a bit more graphic examples of the top 10 list. Like I said, I wanted everyone to be able to see who the actors were, but maybe drive them to Skin's site. You can see and also appreciate all the other context and content that Skin provides. But mentioning Julia Fox's show, PVT Chat, I wish I had the title of this movie, but I suspect hopefully it will be out by next year. Two Chicago guys, Jim, Mike Morisi and Tim Seeley, who are big, not only comic book people, but horror story writers. Mm-hmm. They came up with a great concept during the pandemic, and I don't have the title of the film, but it's a horror film that takes place in a peep show. And that way they were able to keep the actors distant and obey COVID rules, but still shoot a really interesting, suspenseful horror movie.
Definitely, based on what you're describing, it sounds like something we will be reviewing at MrSkin.com. So
there you go, man. Absolutely. And yeah, they're at C2E2, the comic convention this weekend. I would have done their panel, but I had already committed to a different panel. Idiot.
Oh, okay.
Idiot.
That's all right. You're a busy man.
Absolutely, but they're great friends. So I wanted to mention that, and I figured that was definitely part of what we would be talking about and stuff. So yeah, I believe, is this number one, Sydney Sweeney?
Yeah, Sydney Sweeney, and she. If you don't know who Sydney Sweeney is, she has about 4 million Instagram followers. She is on that Euphoria, that very naughty HBO show about high school students with Zendaya that came out in 2019, and then the COVID kind of shut it down. But now I guess season 2 is coming out after the first of the year. And she also was in White Lotus. She played Connie Britton's daughter in White Lotus, if you saw that. Gorgeous girl, very curvy, as you can see in the picture.
Oh, yeah.
All natural. And she did this movie called The Voyeurs, which was, when I saw it, it came out on September 10th. It's an Amazon original movie. When it came out, I knew that this was going to be the best nude scene of the year. I just knew it because of who she is and how she looks. But it's basically, John, like a Rear Window type of thing, where like her and her boyfriend, they spy on this other couple across the high rise, and they become like infatuated. Then they get to meet him, and it's a thriller. Thriller. I don't want to ruin anything, but there's a scene where she's being photographed, and there's also a great sex scene. But the photograph scene is what I chose as the best nude scene of the year, and it, all these things about who Sydney Sweeney is and how great the scene was just enough for me to make it number one for the year.
That's cool. That's excellent, man. Again, I love the combination that there's a lot of newcomers always, but also, you got your Alexandra Daddario's and things. Let's see. And now Sarah Shea, excuse me.
Shahi, is it Shahi? Yeah, there's a cool show on Netflix. This actually came in at number 2, and it's called Sex Life. And John, it's a really cool premise. Like she plays a 40-something suburban mom. Great husband, nice house in the suburbs. They have kids, and she just has these fantasies about her wild single days, and it flashes back to that. And this is a very popular show with women. There's a ton of sex and nudity, and one of her flashback scenes was our number 2 nude scene of the year. But what's really interesting is there was a scene this Adam Demos played one of her old boyfriends, and I guess he was very well endowed, John. and they show a scene where he's in the shower and some guy sees him, and rumor has it it's a prosthetic. More power to him if it's not, but I mean it was like Dirk Diggler legendary size, and Netflix said that it had been rewound 20 million times already, and this came out. And we actually at MrMan.com have this as the #1 scene of the year. But if you haven't seen it, it's unbelievable. But yeah, this Sex Life with Sarah Shahi is a cool show if you haven't seen it.
Is regarding Mr. Man and really the male nudity and everything. Isn't it amazing? Because again, I remember was it Kevin Bacon's scene in Wild Things?
Oh yeah, you see the bacon bits, yes.
You know, and Mark Wahlberg, and again, we don't know if it was a prosthetic or not.
Well, that was a prosthetic. I promise.
It was okay. Boogie Nights, yeah. But it's interesting now. I forget the name of the HBO show about the weed delivery guy, and you see all the different interludes of his clients, and that's what the focus of each story is and stuff. But I remember seeing some crank in that.
It's really amazing how much male nudity has happened in the last probably 7 years, and maybe it's because we're like it doesn't like excite us yeah. But we don't think about it as much. But gosh, there has been more penis in the last 5 years than in any time in the history of movies or television, and it's really incredible, and it's a good thing really, because why should it only be women who do nudity? Men should too, and it's only fair, right?
I agree. Yes, and I'm glad. And truly, I mean, and I think that's a nice thing for those of different sexual orientation.
Well, it's funny.
As well.
It's funny. I launched, I think it was 2013 or 14. Can't remember. But we launched MrMan.com. And it took me a while to want to do it. And my guys were like, listen, we're already going through every episode of Game of Thrones and there's male nudity. Why are we just discarding that? Let's do a male nudity site. So we spent a good year getting ready. We learned all the things that were good about Mr. Skin and implemented them into Mr. Man. And now it's a fantastic website. It's, no pun intended, it's been our fastest growing website in our library. But I was very naive. I thought that the memberships of that website would be like 50% women and 50% gay men.
Okay.
And as time went on, it became very obvious that the traffic was maybe 50-50, but the actual subscribers, the people that paid money, was probably 98% gay men, give or take 2%.
That's great. That's great.
Because the fact of the matter is, women, of course, want to see nudity. Women, of course, you're at a dinner and some girl has something on the phone of a scene. They'll look at it and love it like a guy would. They just aren't willing to pay for it like a guy is, right? It's just guys are like, yeah, I'll pay money to see that, whereas a woman's like, nah, I don't, And that's kind of been my experience with Mr. Man. It's a more gay clientele, but it's still the lists and stuff. Women love it and check it out, and it's all free. So yeah,
that's awesome. Forgive my my laundry beeping. It may beep a few more times. I'll try to cut my microphone if it starts beeping again, everybody. But no, it's funny too. Getting back to Sarah Shahi. And the premise of the series and stuff, it reminds me of a couple years ago when the Buffy the Vampire vet Charisma Carpenter made a similar movie where she got naked and really it was kind of a housewife in her 40s kind of Yeah,
you mean you're talking about Bound?
Yes, or no, not. Well, was it also called Bound? Well,
not the Are you talking about Charisma Carpenter?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, it's called Bound, not the Bound from 1996 with Jennifer Tilly. That's a different Bound.
Okay. Yeah, that is what I was talking about. Yeah, exactly. No, and it was great that great that she did it, and great that I thought it was a strong kind of revenge movie and stuff, and it was an interesting movie.
No, I agree. That's a favorite of ours at MrSkin.com for obvious reasons.
For Mr. Man, is it the same crew that's assessing, or did you get,
Well, we have
women and gay people to?
no, we have like our writing team and our content team is a mixture of males and females and gay males, but for Mr. Man, it's usually more everyone contributes because like we're the team knows a good nude scene when they see it, whether it's arousing to them or not, and it's a mix. So I have a good mix of lesbian employees, gay employees, heterosexual employees, but we all love nudity. We all understand what makes a good nude scene, and they're awesome about it. So, like I said, I have a great team.
That's awesome. How many people on the team, Skin?
Probably, my total payroll is probably around 38 to 40 people right now.
That's fantastic. Again,
it's not just Mr. Skin. We have other businesses and things, but a lot of those people are involved with Mr. Skin. So
understood. And over the years, you've come on and we've talked about certainly when the Marvel Cinematic Universe was kind of at its peak, and it still hasn't dropped any. But we talked about various stars of those and the various nude scenes that they've done over the years, yes. The various actors and stuff. So that's very cool. Are there other lists that are coming up as far as what you got coming?
Well, we're going to be doing our Anatomy Awards, of course. One of the things and the Anatomy Awards come out right around Oscar time, and Oscars later and later all the time. But we're all about lists. So here's what I could tell you. We just ended Hanukkah a few days ago. We did our Hanukkah hotties, Jewish girls that have been nude, right? We have always, if it's, over Halloween, you wouldn't believe how many lists of vampires who showed their butts or, you name it, we had it. Skingoria, nude knifing scenes, whatever it is, we came up with it. And we're always trying to, I know when St. Patrick's Day comes up, we might do Irish girls nude, Aaron go braless or something. I don't know. So we come up with stuff all the time. So.
That's outstanding. Well, as you know, anytime you've got a new list, you want to promote it and stuff, you're always welcome back. And truly, everybody, not only the movie Skin, but you really need to read Jim's book that he wrote with our buddy Matthew Klickstein as well, being Mr. Skin. It's great. And truly, Jim, as I always say, I love a good content creator success story. and man, you are so the Chuck Yeager of that stuff, man. You broke the sound barrier.
Closer to Jägermeister than Chuck Yeager, but that's very nice of you. Thank you. But you got to understand, I was in my mid-30s going nowhere at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange and came up with this idea, and it totally changed my life. So what can I tell you?
Jim, I've been doing Word Balloon now for 16 years. So I was 41. And, God, you saw me doing production at the Drive. That's when you and I first met face to face with Pete McMurray and stuff, putting us together. And really, it touches me that you remembered my stuff at the Score, that meant a lot to me. And I know you're a big radio fan.
Listen, I'm a big radio fan. I mean, I've been on, I used to go on Mike North's show a lot. Or I could, it's more of a sports station, but he had me on. Steve Dahl.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been on pretty much every show. Pete McMurray, of course. Harry Tynowitz, good friend of mine. He was the one who first had me on the air. So I'm a huge Chicago radio fan. Chicago radio is what made MrSkin.com. And I know all the players. I know a lot of them personally, and I'm a fan. And it's near and dear to my heart. So.
Well, that's when that combination of you going on those shows and finding the website. That's when I first discovered you 21 years ago. And man, no, it's you're always entertaining whenever you're on any local radio. Have you noticed any changes in local radio as far as? I mean, I know you're a guest, but I mean, you see what's happening on the radio landscape.
Listen, I used to go on. Literally, 99 to 2006, I probably did 30 radio interviews a week all over the country.
Wow.
It was like just because it was just fun.
Sure.
Hey, I killed 12 minutes for you. Just have people call, ask me questions. I'll know this off the top of my head. And then over time, Janet Jackson, Super Bowl in 04 started to get things a little goofy. It's not about my content that has caused less radio promotion. It's about less, like everything's consolidated. Like there's not as many morning guys anymore. And there's not new blood in the business. Like all the shows that I'm a regular guest on, and I still go on a ton of shows, but nowhere near like I used to. They're all guys that are my age or older that have had shows for 30 years. I'm never on like a show where a guy's 28 years old trying to make his name in Cleveland or something. It's like, it's really sad. It's like, I don't know, 20 years from now, who's going to be doing radio,
Yeah, I wonder the same thing, Jim, honestly, in terms of what radio will be not only 20 years, even I would say 10 years, because again, as you say, they're just consolidating. And also I think the homogenization of radio, and there's a lot of fearful people. I mean, being the radio listener that you've been for all these years and stuff, I know stuff that I did in the 90s would get me fired in a heartbeat today.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the other thing, too, is I'm pretty good about knowing where to go, where that line is. But it's more like people that have had me on for 20 years can still have me on. But brand new shows that haven't, it's just not worth the risk to them. And that's fine. Listen, I'm getting older, too. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be doing this. And I've got so much free publicity from the media that, I mean, if I stop tomorrow, there'd still be millions of people that knew about this website from all the other stuff I've done.
I get it, man. No, and that's great. And again, the empire that you built, whatever you want to do with it, that's terrific, man. But congratulations on 21 years of continued success that you've had. Everybody go to MrSkin.com if you want to see. Again, we showed you. For both the audio and video audience, we showed you the faces, but if you really want to see the content, go to MrSkin.com. Check out Jim's book, Being Mr. Skin. And also, man, if you've got Hulu, it's sitting there waiting for you. Skin is an incredible documentary about the history of nudity in the movies. So many great stars are in it and familiar faces that you'll be like, oh, yeah, that's the girl from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and The Last American Virgin and stuff like that. It's a great.
And she was awesome. Yeah, she was awesome. Then I was so happy she did the interview.
Honestly, the interviews you got, and also the perspective that the documentary takes, will comfort people and surprise people at the same time. And it's really, I'm so glad that it's working for you, Jim. And good luck on the next round. And make more money on whoever's going to be streaming.
Yeah, the next round's going to do really well because now that industry knows how many people have watched it on Hulu, and it's going to be a fun negotiation next time. So we'll see.
That's excellent, man. Well, I really appreciate you hanging out this afternoon. Thank you so much, and I'm happy to drive people to MrSkin.com and have fun with the content there. It's a great website. I'm glad we live in a country where such a thing can, and in a world where people are still accepting it and everything. And that's why I have no problem, having you on and talking about this stuff. It's a very fun conversation, and I'm glad people have good senses of humor about it as well.
Yeah, well, thanks. I really appreciate it, John. Thanks for having me on. That was a lot of fun.
Absolutely, man. Later tonight, I'm going to be talking to Mark Russell, who is it? Do you know Mark's comics?
I don't know him, but I've heard of him.
Yeah, great writer, very funny and everything. He's got a great new book from DC called One Star Squadron, but he's written great Superman comics of late. He just wrapped up a great Fantastic Four miniseries. Jim, are you a comic book guy?
I am not, but okay. I appreciate your passion. This whole interview, you've made so many comic book references, and you knew all about Y the Last Man, and I could tell you're one of those guys that loves that, and I respect passion. Like I'm passionate about this, but I respect the different types of passion out there.
Sure, man. No. And again, that's why, just as I feel a kinship to my friends in the comic book business that make independent comics, as a content creator myself, I feel a kinship with you, and truly that's why I'm thrilled with the amount of success you had, and it's an inspiration to me to build my brand and broaden it. So,
yeah, my pleasure, and good luck. You do a great job, so thank you very much.
Thanks, buddy. So yeah, Mark Russell later tonight. It's going to be at 9 p.m. Central Time, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. Join us then. Until then, thanks a lot for watching as always, and I hope you'll check out Jim's content at MrSkin.com. But until next time, everybody stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy. Take care.